I'll fix that later. Please remember to subscribe to the channel as well and thumbs up that video if you get an opportunity and you enjoy it. It really helps other people discover and find this content as well. Today, we're going to take a look at n8n, and to do that, I am joined by Tanay. Hello, Tanay. How are you?
Very well. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm all right. I did pretty well. The weather's nice in Scotland, which is a rare feat, especially at this time of the year. This is my last day of work this week. I'm just going to give you far too much information now. My last day of work this week. There's no streams tomorrow. I'm off for my birthday, so I'm quite happy about that too. And of course, I'm very happy to be joined by you to cover n8n. Do you want to just take a moment to tell us about you, who you work for, and then we'll dive into to today's content?
Sure. So I'm Tanay, and I'm the head of developer relations at n8n. And what that entails is like I have been working on several exciting things recently, like helping our community automate a lot of really cool stuff and help them unleash their productivity. I've been involved in the world of open source and DevRel for almost 6 years now. And before this, I've been involved with the Mozilla Foundation on several tracks. And I've also published books on some of my favorite topics like Firefox OS, WebVR, and virtual assistants on Raspberry Pi. And since I have a background in computer science, I'm very familiar with programming and software development. And a while back, I learned about the Lego programming language. Have you heard of it, David?
I mean, I consider myself quite well versed when it comes to esoteric programming languages, but I must say I did not know the Lego programming language.
Okay, so what they do is they use it in their Mindstorms products. And those robots can be made to move in certain patterns by connecting these pre-programmed blocks of movements. So when I saw that, I recognized the value it provides in reducing the effort of doing things by abstracting the complexity of making a robot physically move. And then last year, I came across n8n, and something clicked in the back of my head. I could totally see the genius of having a node-based system with nodes for concepts like conditional logic, along with products and services to automate things. And this, for me, was like finding Lego for the real world. So as a developer advocate, a tool like n8n provides immense value to me to be able to build real-world scalable demos so quickly. And as an educator, I need to be able to teach newcomers into tech about how things work with the support of node-based thinking. And for me, no code is about empowerment, and n8n allows me to do just that. So I can introduce n8n shortly. So n8n is an extendable workflow automation tool, and it has a fair code distribution model, which means that n8n will always have visible source code, be available to self-host, and allow you to add custom functions, logic, and apps. And its node-based approach makes it very versatile, enabling you to connect anything to everything. And our mission is to give everyone who uses a computer technical superpowers.
Okay, so there are a few words there that I heard that kind of give away a lot of flavor about what n8n is then. So I'm going to try and pick a few out. Like you mentioned no code. Can we just talk about what no code is?
Sure. So no code is the ability to build services, products, or workflows without writing any code. So let's say, I don't know, like what happens to me often living in Berlin is I go out, I forget my umbrella, and it rains, and I arrive in the office drenched. So, having something as simple as, running a cron job every morning, let's say at 8, and getting weather information and getting a text saying like, hey, you should take an umbrella today because it's going to rain. So even as simple as workflows like these, you can completely build them without writing any code.
Okay, so that's really cool. People that not, I guess, people don't need code to build these workflows, which is great. But you also, the other thing that stuck out to me when you mentioned this was you said extendable workflow automation. So I'm assuming I have the option to write code as well.
You do. So extensible actually covers different facets of n8n. One of them being, yes, we have a function node. So in that you can write JavaScript code. So in case there's something that isn't available in n8n, you can write JavaScript code for making that happen, be that data transformation or something else. Then also, like as I mentioned, n8n is on GitHub. It's source code visible, and you can write your own custom nodes if you know TypeScript. I've been doing that since the last week, and it's a lot of fun, I must say.
Okay, cool. Let me pull up the website then. So right away, I can see, the fair code, the extendable workflows. I can see the number one product of the week. So, people are obviously liking this and using it. And that's backed up by, you've got 10,000 stars and quite a high ratio of forks as well. So it sounds like it's maybe a really good project for people to contribute to as well. And I'm just going to make that assumption based on that. And JavaScript is such a prominent language in TypeScript, so that's pretty cool too. Now, what are some of the? I'm assuming that you use n8n on a daily basis. I'm assuming that your colleagues use n8n on a daily basis. Can you maybe just give us a little bit of insight into some of the tasks that you're automating with this tool?
Sure. So we're using n8n in quite a lot of different ways. So we use this chatting platform called Mattermost. So for those of you who aren't aware, it's an open source alternative to Slack. And they allow you to create custom slash commands similar to the Slack ecosystem, I'd say. So we have a lot of different things, like we use a slash call command that sends the other people in the company the link to the Whereby room of the person who issued the command. And Whereby is a video conferencing service that we use. Then we have a slash GitHub command. So sometimes, there's people contributing to the project or making some pull requests and so on. And this helps us get information about the GitHub users, like maybe their Twitter or their email. So, we can reach out to them and thank them for supporting us. It also helps us like reduce unnecessary communication at times. Like one of our colleagues is working on the n8n cloud, which is the hosted version of n8n. And, we used to ping him from time to time, like, hey, how's it going? How many people have signed up? And this is unnecessary overhead, right? And what we did was we created a slash SAS command, which gets all the metrics about n8n cloud. So, the conversations have to be more meaningful, like, oh, I have a specific question. And like something really interesting we did recently was, so me and my team is working on creating the documentation for different nodes in n8n. And so when we started doing this, n8n already had somewhere around 130, 140 nodes. And we add nodes rather quickly. Like if you take a look at our changelog, we have been adding nodes at a great velocity. So, like we are creating documentations, but new nodes are getting added. And sometimes like you're going on vacations and you have no idea, okay, which ones have been documented, which ones haven't. So what we did was we also created a slash docs command, but this also runs as a cron job every Monday. So what it does is it gets information on what are all the nodes in n8n through a GraphQL endpoint. And that data is being fed through Strapi. We get that data, and the name of the nodes sort of correlates to the URL of the documentation. So we use HTTP request node to see if we get a 404. If we did, then that documentation doesn't exist. So it sort of gives us a list, okay, these nodes need to be documented. So that's like one of the ways, like some of the ways that we have been using n8n for.
Nice. There was a lot of practical examples there, things that I can immediately relate to, and I'm thinking, wow, like we could use that in our team for sure. So, pop quiz then. You mentioned there were 130 nodes. How many are there today?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'd take a chance and say around 200.
Okay, so I'm just going to click around on the docs now because I'm curious. So, this is the node library here.
Yes.
This one.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. There's a fair few, and I'm not going to count them. I'm not going to count them. I'll just say you're close enough that it seems plausible. All right. I think what we should do is just get hands on it and start playing with n8n. So as a newcomer to the project, I was going to say, how did I get started? But as always, there is a getting started part on the documentation. So I'm just going to assume and click. Please feel free to say stop. You're going the wrong way or whatever. But
Sounds
MPX.
good.
Now, I'm I'd say I'm comfortable writing JavaScript, but the tooling has always kind of eluded me. I believe MPX is just a way to execute random, not random, but some arbitrary package from npm as long as I provide the name. That's correct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once you close it, all the data would be lost though. So it's sort of like running on a Docker container without any persistence.
Okay, and I can see we have Docker as an option too, and we have the ability just to globally install it with npm. All right.
Yeah.
I think I may actually had done this at some point when I was curious. So let me grab my terminal. Da, da, da. Move it over here. Whoa. Thank you. So let's see what happens. Okay, maybe I haven't done it because it looks like it's installing it now.
We put
That's
out a
okay.
release yesterday, so perfect. You'll have the latest version.
Oh wow! So we're playing with bleeding edge as well. Excellent.
And
All
I'm
right,
very exciting because I added 3 nodes to yesterday's release. So hey.
3 new nodes. All right. I mean, when you say that it's easy, right, to add a new node, what do you mean? So let me actually rephrase that question. How simple is it to add a new node? Are we talking like 10 lines of code, 50 lines of code? Do I need dependencies? I guess it all depends on the node. Can you maybe just pick one of the ones that you released yesterday and tell us how you went about it?
All right. So yesterday we released Orbit. Do you know about Orbit?
Yeah, the DevRel kind of metrics community
Yes,
pulse
exactly.
program. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'd say like my first node was for Apache Kafka. And like that took me around 3 hours to build it. And there was a reason because like I hadn't written JavaScript in around 1.5 or 2 years. I have never worked with TypeScript before, and so yeah, like that was a bit of an effort there.
Oh,
But
hold
like
on a
it really
second
depends
there.
on yeah.
So, I mean, I'm hearing such contradictory stuff there. You haven't written JavaScript or TypeScript in a year and a half. Kafka is a big complex bit of software, and you're saying that 3 hours was long for implementing that. I mean, that seems really quick. Like if I were able to build a node for any n in under 3 hours, I'd be pretty chuffed with myself. And you seem to be like, no, it should have been faster. So,
So yeah, like it really depends on 2 things. It's like how familiar are you with this whole JS ecosystem? So TypeScript was a bit new for me, so that could have definitely increased the speed of development there. And second is the API or the service that you're implementing, how well documented it is. So just as an example, what we did, so I created this over the weekend, right? And I was implementing it using the Kafka JS library. So I was having a chat with one of my colleagues in the office, and I was telling him like, "Hey, I did this on the weekend. Really excited about it." And he was like, "Oh, how long did you take?" We had the same conversation, and then he said like, shall we take a look at how quick it can be?" And I was like, okay, we should definitely do that. So we picked up Google Translate, right? And also depends on how complete the node is. So Kafka, for instance, okay, like you just send data to it, to a Kafka broker. But Orbit, for instance, had a lot of different endpoints. You can create, create a member, create a node, post, a lot of different things. So Translate, we said, okay, you put in a text query, it translates it to the target language. That's it. It does one thing, right? Um, that took me about 20 minutes to implement. So like at that point, I had played a bit around with n8n, was a bit familiar with like how the nodes look like, and yeah, like and basically how TypeScript essentially works. So it can be very quick. But then again, like I've heard from my colleagues who have been working on this, it's like it really boils down to how well documented, implemented the API itself is, because that can make a lot of difference in the development time as well.
yeah, that makes sense to me. Definitely. Okay, we can talk more about the contributing nodes bit a little bit later. Let's cover some of the basics first. So I've done the install. Does that mean I can just run n8n?
Yes, so there's 2 ways, like you can do that for sure. You can this will run n8n, and there's another way of running n8n is it, and that's with tunnel. So basically, that is n8n space start space hyphen hyphen tunnel, and what that does is, or start without the hyphen,
And then dash dash
and
tunnel.
then hyphen hyphen, yeah. So what this would do is like if you are using a trigger node, which so like if you're using a Telegram trigger, for instance, or a GitHub trigger, your n8n instance needs to be accessible from the internet. So this will use the local tunnel and make it accessible to the internet. But this is really for development and testing purposes. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we're anticipating that we may do something that requires something on the internet to speak back to our n8n. So we're adding the tunnel parameter. I
Yes.
think I understood that right. Okay. So waiting for tunnel. I suppose I should let it on the network. I can just push. Oh, and I bet you it opens over here. Oh, it didn't. Wow, that was good. Okay. No, I'm just every time I've opened a browser when I'm on the stream, it moves over there, and I have to go and fetch it. But we're good. Anyway, not important. Uh,
Awesome.
so what do we have here? I see a draggy thing. I see. Yeah, I figured that was going to do something there. Oh, close that. I'm assuming, with my naive knowledge here, this is an empty workflow.
It is an empty workflow. So this is a new workflow, and what we are looking at this whole screen is called the editor UI. So it's essentially an empty canvas for you to design your workflows. Yeah.
All right. I'm just going to keep executing it because it's cool. Like, yeah. All right. So
So
I'm a.
we start off.
Sorry, on you go, Tani.
Yeah, I was mentioning like we start off with the start node. Like all workflows would have a start node, even if it's used or not. So in case you're using a workflow that's being called with a trigger node, you can safely ignore it.
Okay.
But if
So
you're manually executing a workflow, the first node needs to be connected to the start node.
right. Okay. So when I drag this over here, I get to create a node thing, and I can just pick any of these that I want, right? And it's going to
Yes.
do something. Okay. What is a good node then for us just to do something that is visual and we can see it working?
Okay. That's a very tough question. um, let's do HTTP request node.
I was just thinking that. So good. Uh, so we have. My friend wrote this app, and I've used this a few times now on a stream called rbox.app that just gives us a webhook endpoint. So I guess we can send something to this.
We
Yes,
can for
we
sure. Let's
can.
do it.
See, plans coming already. So let me see if I can work this out. So no authentication. I am going to send a put because why not? I'm going to drop in that URL. I'll just ignore that for now. I don't know if I don't think it will do anything. Can I send? Yeah. Okay. So I can just click add parameter. Can I just send
Yeah,
JSON?
you can. So you can send So this would basically create a key value pair in body parameters if you
Uh huh.
use this. But also if you click on JSON, yeah, so you could also then add JSON in there in the body parameters. Yeah, like you
Ah,
can
okay.
enter add JSON there.
Oh, there we go. Now I feel at home. Right. Oh, cool if that tab key worked. There's a feature request. Name David. Let since it's going to be my birthday, I'll add my age, and we'll say website. I know this is completely unimportant, but I'm just going to do it. Uh, so I just click
So
close, right?
if I'm not mistaken, you'd probably have to send that as parameter because this is like send that as a JSON object, and this right now is like a string. But let's see what the node says if you execute it.
So I was just under the assumption that when I click this, I was just going to do raw JSON, which this. Let's try it. Right. The only thing that can happen, it can break. Now I also see settings. I always like to click buttons. So, oh, I can pick the color. I'm a sucker for these weird tweaks as well. Let's go with that. Execute once, retry on fail. Cool, that sounds good. Continue and fail. I guess that will become more prominent or important when we have more than one step to our workflow. So am I done? Can I just close this again? And that's it, right? That's my workflow. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just click go. Nice.
So you can. Okay.
Ta-da! All right, I'm easily pleased.
Perfect.
Cool. I like it. Okay, so that was easy.
So what the HTTP request is quite useful for is basically like we used to call it the Swiss Army knife node for n8n. So like we have nodes for a lot of services, but let's say you have a service with a REST API, and we don't have a node for that. You can always use the HTTP request node. You can make authentication with it, send it different parameters, even send binary files and so on. So if we don't have a node for something, you can always use the HTTP request node for making that happen.
Okay, so should we add another node, or do we save this workflow? Like right now it says the workflow is not saved, so I'm assuming if I close this and go away, it disappears. Like
it will give you a warning, and if you still leave, then it
how
will
confident
disappear.
are you it's going to give me a warning? If I hit close tab, will it warn me? Or
I'm very confident. Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
oh yeah, okay. Yeah, cancel. Okay, so can I save the? How do I save it? Let's see.
If you go on the extreme left, workflows. Save as.
Okay, so basic HTTP.
So this feature with if your workflow is not saved, it gives a warning. It was implemented in the latest version. No,
oh
the
really?
version last week. The version last week, yeah, 0.91.
And you were still confident that it was going to give me a warning. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I was stoked. I tried refreshing page after it was released. I closed on tabs. I've lost a couple of workflows because it didn't give me a warning before. So I tried it all the different ways, and yeah, like.
All right.
Great.
What's this active button for?
So active button is useful when you are using a trigger node. So in n8n, you have essentially two different kinds of nodes. So it's like trigger nodes and regular nodes. And I feel a bit bad about calling them regular nodes. They're quite extraordinary. But yeah, okay. So the trigger nodes essentially start a workflow and supply initial data. So a workflow can contain multiple trigger nodes, but with each execution, only one of them will execute. So this is because the other trigger nodes would not have any input, as they are like the nodes which are the starting of a workflow's execution. So an example of that could be a cron node. So a cron node, if you say run every Monday, or like the example I gave in the beginning, like run every morning at 8 a.m. So there's a couple of, if you click on add cron time, there's a couple of options you can choose, like every day you can select, every minute, and like you can also add a custom cron expression, I suppose it's called. I always use a website to build them if I need to do that. But
so
yeah.
Does this 00 just mean every hour, every minute?
No, so it says every day at 0.
Okay.
12 a.m. 12 a.m. Yes.
Can I just star? Like the actual? Oh no, that didn't work. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just do. Oh, there we go. Every minute. It was easier than I thought it was going to be. All right. Let's just.
So yeah. So these are like the trigger nodes. Go ahead.
Yeah. Is that enabled now?
No. So you need to, like, if you click on active, you don't need to connect it. So it would be the first node in a workflow. So you can now connect it to the HTTP request node, or to the small box on the left of the node. To the left,
Ah,
yes. You can actually disconnect it with the start node, or you can keep it. Wouldn't matter.
so I guess
But
what I'm thinking here then is that with I can add multiple trigger nodes, and they will all be responsible for kicking off this HTTP request when they get triggered, right? So I can say
yes,
send this HTTP request when any of these things happen, and that could just be any arbitrary number of trigger nodes that I want, right?
yeah, yeah. But like only one would execute at a time. But yeah, you can have multiple triggers as well. So now that you activated the workflow, this would like trigger this query every minute. I suppose that's the setting you added.
Yeah. I don't know why this isn't refreshing. Try again. Oh, I don't think it's just not set anything yet. Okay. So I guess how okay, there's my next question then. Can I view the events or as soon as I said that I seen it. I'm assuming this execution is just going to show me
Yes,
that. Okay. So this was this my manual trigger? No.
yes. Um, so if we take a look at this, so mode is trigger. Um, so before this, like I'd show you one thing.
Oh yeah, sure, go for it. Sorry, I'm getting scatterbrained here. Go
No
for it.
worries. If you go on the left side under workflows, there's a setting. There's settings. So you can have settings for each workflow. So you can send like your time zone. You can also set what sort of data executions would be saved. So it's like save error execution or success. So like you'd have to specify. So a lot of defaults is yes.
Yep.
So the it says basically here save manual executions. Default it's set to no. So that would be your cron node trigger that.
Oh, okay, all right. So if I click save on that and do a manual execution, that means then I come here. Yeah, we see the manual, and I'll see that my cron one then has ran twice at
Yeah.
29:07 and 28:08. So, yeah, roughly a minute apart. So let's see if I can. Oh yeah, okay, it's working.
I was thinking you, for some reason, that you said every second, but it was every minute. So checks out. Yeah.
Yep, and there's another one off. Right. Okay, I could probably turn that off now.
Yep.
Let's click this.
Or you can also deactivate the workflow on top right. You don't need to disconnect it because this would still trigger the workflow every minute, but nothing would happen because nothing is connected to the cron node.
I can turn off the trigger with that little pause thing, right?
So this deactivates the node. So to like turn off the active state of the workflow, on the top right, you have the active button. You can toggle that
All right. Okay. So I can turn
to,
off the entire workflow, but I can also just pause and turn off individual triggers as well if I want.
yeah.
All right. Save. Okay, cool. I like it. I can already start to see how this is forming the building blocks of like the bigger automation or workflow things that I would probably want to do with this tool. So that's really cool. I'm happy. What should we take a look at next?
Should we get data from a REST endpoint and do something with it?
I mean, it sounds difficult, but I'll give it a shot.
It's easy.
All right.
So,
New workflow. Teach me.
so let's use this API I discovered a few months back. It's called the Cocktail DB API. Let's learn to make some cocktails while we are learning about n8n as well.
All right. Cocktail DB API.
And if you search for random on the page, Command F.
Look up a random cocktail.
So let's copy that.
All right. Okay. So we get some JSON back. So I'm assuming you're going to want me to add a HTTP request.
Exactly.
And we're going to do a get request to that URL. And I hook this up and then hit execute. Okay. So Is
You
it
can double click
possible
it.
for double click it? All right,
It-
that was my next question. Okay, so we can actually see the JSON. Ah, there we go. That's much better. Nice. Okay. So I'm assuming. In fact, why don't, what are we doing next? I don't want to assume. I'll get it wrong.
Okay. So what we can do is, shall we create? We can do a lot of things with this. Should we play around with Telegram maybe, or would you like to us to make a graphic for this?
So
What
I
should we
think.
do?
I mean, well, right now I want a cocktail, but I'm assuming n8n can't do that. So why?
Not
I mean,
yet.
what I think what I'm okay. I can see use cases where I want to have an API. I want to fetch some data. How do I pick out bits of this data that I think are important? Is that just a new node? How does n8n help me dissect that JSON?
Cool. So what we can do is add a set node after this.
Okay, so I can just go boop, and
You can
then
also press on tab. That opens up the.
oh, nice. Okay,
So
what's the set node?
So set node, you can set different variables. These could be new variables, like new JSON entry points. Um, but also you can click on keep only set. So only the values that you set in this node would be passed forward in the workflow. So all the data that's being passed to the workflow is in JSON. So CocktailDB returned a lot of things, a lot of values. So all of that would be passed along in the workflow, but we can change that with the set node. You can also use a function node, but it's easier the no code way.
Okay, so I just
So
hit add value. I say I want a string, and then the property. Is it going to help me fill in that property name? Like,
you can call it whatever you want. Let's maybe like
so
cocktail name,
yeah, let's take
cocktail
the
underscore
cocktail
name.
name. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, see, and how do I propagate that value from that JSON we got in the previous node?
Right. So on the gears icon next to the value field, if you click on it, add expression. So it's going to be a dynamic value, which is going to change every time you execute the workflow because it's a random API. And I'll let you find that.
I'm just clicking away here. I'm quite happy. So let's see, ID drink. Oh no, that's not a category. Okay, so we have a category and we got this drink here. So let's get the name. I think yeah, rum sour. That's the name. Could close, and I'm going to just run this because I like clicking that. Double click this.
So it still returns all the information. So we'd have to click on keep only set inside the node. You can also execute the node from execute node button on the top on the right. Yeah. So it
Oh,
just
there we
returns
go.
this.
All right, let's get the description. I'm going to change this actually. That seems a little bit redundant. Now we're going to add the expression, and I'm going to just jump through. Category actually was what I wanted, wasn't it? Not description. So let me fix that. I'll call it. I'm going to call it type of drink. Let's see what happens. All right, I win a party drink called a Zimadori Zinger. I'll take 2, thanks. All right,
Nice.
that's nice. I like it. So let's tackle. We have a viewer question, which I'll pop up on the screen. So SM has asked, is it possible to implement cloud functions? Basically, you call an endpoint, execute a workflow, and return the final result to the original API call. Let me. Yeah, okay. So I think I understand the question. If you understand it, by all means, go because you.
I do.
All right, cool.
So yes, we can do that. Should we do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Okay.
So what we do is we add a webhook node, and we haven't talked about it before. but
Hold on.
let's add it. So it's
Let me save my working
the
cocktail. All right, so we're going to add a webhook. Oh, is that a
so it would be in the
trigger? Yeah.
yeah. So what we can do here is, okay, let's take a look at this first. So there's a couple of options. So if you click on the webhook URLs on the top, it's a pink color, orange. And we have two different webhook URLs, so production and test. So the difference between the two is a test webhook URL is to register the webhook, you click on execute workflow. The webhook stays active for 120 seconds and then it stops. So the benefit of using a test webhook URL is essentially you get to see all the data that's coming in and it helps you design your workflow. So when you're done designing, then you use the production webhook and set it to active. So
Got
yes.
it. Okay, so that this comes back to that dash dash tunnel we used, right? So what that dash dash tunnel was doing, and I think I understand a bit more now, it's opening a connection to n8n cloud, which is giving me the ability to do this kind of thing. Got it. Okay.
So and like we have different authentication options if you want to password protect your endpoint, and like a path as well. So let's do one thing. On the response mode at the bottom, let's set it to, okay, let's not do anything. That's fine. Let's copy the test webhook URL. You just click on it. Yes, perfect. You can close this or click on execute node.
Well, can I just curl this?
You can, yeah. Or you can also open it in your browser, whichever way you prefer. But you'll have to execute workflow first because we're going to be using. You'll have to save the workflow first. My bad. So whenever you're using a trigger node, it saves the ID. And for that, we need to save the workflow first.
All right, I'll call that fast. I'll pop this open again. We hit execute.
And now you can make a curl request.
Let me close that.
Or, yeah. Yep. So you got the message workflow got started, and you get the data from the endpoint. So now what you can do is essentially, for instance, copy the HTTP request node, which got the cocktail information, connect that to webhook, add a set node, and in the response type, we add last node. So every time you execute it, it's going to send the data that you sent in set node. And that way you create a sort of API endpoint with n8n.
Okay. Right. So let me try and stitch something together here then. We receive a request.
We can just...
I'm going to do something with that request, right? So let me see. What have we got?
Weather information, maybe? Need to get an API key for that, though.
We spoke about here, right? That's here. So can I send a curl request with a color code and have it change the color of my lights behind me then?
Yep.
And then respond with we'll add something that it responds with to satisfy that functions as a service thing as well.
Perfect.
Phew. Secret stuff. Hold on. Let me move to my secret layer. All right. Please stand by. I should have like some hold music available, shouldn't I, for a moment like this? What do I need?
So in case you're having troubles finding where to get the credentials, there's also a link to our documentation which tells what credentials you need to get and where you'd find them.
So I think I got them right. Let's test it. So can I? What is the light ID?
So this probably isn't connected correctly because this should auto-populate.
Right. Okay. So Hold
You
on.
can press the pencil button next to it.
Uh, so do I need to? Oh, it's popping up something. Yeah, I trust you. Oh,
Did you set the URL for the redirect URI in
uh,
Philips Hue? Because you'd need to use
it's an n8n. Okay, sorry. Let
because you're
me.
running with a tunnel right now.
Okay, so let me try one more time.
So for generally for authentication, or authentications and so on, you don't use to need to use tunnel.
No,
But since you're using tunnel,
I
it's gotta be a
crashed n8n, so I just There we go. Okay, so we're back to this bit. Ah, that's changed again, hasn't it?
probably.
All right, hold on. One more update. Save. Okay, that's saved. So I'm going to pop the thing open again. If this doesn't work, I might just drop the tunnel thing for a second. Ah, why is that not working?
So is this is the
Yeah,
OAuth redirect URI that you get is same in Philips Hue when you created the OAuth app?
I'm just going to do this on the screen so that you can see, because I'm sure it's me doing something wrong. And then what I'll do is I'll just delete those secret tokens later. If anyone does
Cool.
decide to change the color of my bulbs, then so be it. Uh, let's see. Okay, so create new here too, and my client ID,
So
my client secret. Oh, Rawkode live. I had copied this. Should this be changing every time I restart, or is that just static?
generally no. But if like you started an instance when the other one wasn't properly closed, the previous one would still be occupied, so then it would give you a new one. But if you close n8n and restart it, it shouldn't change. Not yet.
Oops.
So, oh, did you already paste the OAuth callback URL in your Philips Hue app?
Yeah, so I updated Philips Hue to this URL.
So next to OAuth where it says not connected in the OAuth section,
Mm-hmm.
yes, yeah, you need to click here. Okay.
All right. So we think this is a tunnel bug, potentially, or I've just broken it during the initial setup. I'm not really sure. So what I'm going to do is cheat. Not cheat. I'm going to spin it up without. Let's try that again. Reload. Okay, so now I've got a different OAuth callback. Save. And go. Hey, okay. So that works. Now, there we go. So I can do my office. We'll do the office strip lights. And I guess hue would be the color.
Hue would be the shade, I imagine.
Uh,
So
okay.
let's take a look. Yeah.
I'll just pick a number. Okay. Did it change?
No, I think like some shading change.
Oh,
Let's take a look at the add field. What do we have here? Um, so do we have alert effect? Let's try alert effect maybe first.
which one, sorry?
Alert effect. If you go on the top, yeah, I can try this and execute node.
Oh, it's flashing. Cool. Let me change this. I don't really know what this number is.
So I think let me take a look at the.
Well, I can pop open the Philips Hue documentation. The link was right there in front of me. So let me try it again. All right. Okay, that works. I'm happy with that. So
Okay, so it's a value called hue that we have
yeah,
to add to change color.
yeah, I added the hue, but the color. I mean, it seems to be numeric.
So it's a value. If you click on the tooltip next to the field, it will mention like is a wrapping value between 0 and 65,535.
Oh, so my tiny little numbers probably just weren't doing anything. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
so 0 is red, for instance, if you want to try that.
What's blue?
Blue, 46,920.
40.
920. 46920.
Right. Okay. It's not changing the color.
So I think we should turn off the alert effect. So that would go to, yeah.
Let's try a different light. Maybe it's just that. Let's see. Update. Let's try if
So
I
I'm
can change.
reading 25,500 is green.
Okay, let's move on. The hue thing is cool. I like the alert. I'll play around with that color thing for sure. Now,
We used it
now that
for, yeah, we used it for when we got 10,000 GitHub stars to flash the lights around the office.
nice. Now, what does that mean for this webhook then? Now that I'm not in tunnel mode, should I go back to tunnel mode?
You don't need to. You could still make calls locally because you'd be calling to localhost. So if you open the webhook URL, you just notice the name changed.
Let's just add a new one. So trigger, webhook. And what do I get now? Oh yeah, now we're on localhost. Okay, so test, copy, execute, and then this should just work as last time. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yes. But of course, this time it wouldn't be reachable from the internet because you're running it locally.
Yeah, okay. I
Yeah.
understand the trade-off I've just made there by removing the tunnel thing. Got it.
But that's fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So we now have this webhook or the ability to start something here, and then we want to do something. So,
How about getting weather details?
weather sounds good. Oh, so I need credentials
So do you have a API key for this?
for OpenWeatherMap. I do
For
not.
open. Let me quickly take a look. I can send you one. I'll send you in the chat.
I'll move it over here and then bring it back as if nothing happened. So open weather
The
map.
terminal is acting like a curtain here.
All right. There we go. So I now have that credential saved. Thank you for that. That allows me to. Oh, let's do a forecast. That looks cool. Kelvin or metric? Let's go by metric. Okay, so city name. I live in Paisley, just outside of Glasgow.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Can I? Let me see if I can work this one out. So let's use this webhook to receive a parameter. Okay, I don't know how to do that. In fact, it won't matter, will it, right? I can do that here. And if I remove the Paisley, add an expression and do nodes, webhook, output data. Do I need to send a payload to that so it knows that that's a potential field?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So let's just use the query parameter and say city equals. I'll send mine for now.
So you need to execute the workflow so that the webhook registers again.
Okay. So click and then send. Okay. So now it knows there's this potential field that it's going to receive in the query city. Okay. And now I'm hoping if I come back to this expression thing.
You can just click on it on the city field. Yeah.
Then we can say, there we go. See, I knew it was going to work like that. All right. So that sets it to whatever I send, and then I can execute. And that's going to get me the weather forecast for that city that gets passed in. Okay, so now back to the question that we received then is how do I respond to this webhook with the weather forecast information?
So now if you go on the webhook node, the webhook node, if you open it again.
Yep.
For the response mode, now we wanted to send the data from the last node that executed. So that's fine. First entry JSON is okay. And we execute it. And let's do in the other browser window.
Ta-da!
And we can, of course, use set node to clean this information. So we are only sending out what is actually needed. But yeah, so to answer some question, like you can use n8n workflows as an API endpoint as well.
Okay, so far when I've been running this, I've had to hit execute for that to work. Like, so this won't work now, is that right?
Yes, it wouldn't, because we haven't activated the workflow. So two things. First, we'd activate it, and now you'll have, go ahead. And now you'll need to make calls to the production webhook URL. So if you open the webhook node again, webhook URLs, let's use the production now. So now you wouldn't have to press execute anymore.
Okay, so that error is expected because I never sent one. But let's talk about how we fix that too. Let's do Paris. Okay. Can I make it handle the error better and return something to the user that says, hey, you need to provide a query parameter here?
Sure. So what we can do is place a if node in front of it. So we can say, if there is no query, then give an error.
Okay, so I guess what we're looking for is if string, I'm just going to keep using this cog thing because it seems quite handy. Okay, so I'm assuming, let's see if I got this right. So this is saying if city, how would I do not contain? No. How can I check for the existence of it?
So what you can do is use
Not equal
okay.
to blank. Would that work?
Let's try that. I haven't tried it before. Let's try it. You'd need to, yeah, close this.
Oh, yep.
Oh, so not equal, it says. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so now I can just add a false. Okay, so
So
that's.
that could be a set node,
So I think what I
which
need to do is remove this. So, because I've got if it equals blank, so if that is false, I've probably done that the wrong way around now. And then here, so how can I just return a random string?
we use the set node again.
Set node.
Yeah.
Uh,
And let's add a, let's, yeah, perfect. String. Let's
oh,
call the name
let's do error.
error. And then
Uh,
we can say
you're silly.
whatever.
There's no city. I'll be a bit amigo. There we go. Close. So let's see if I've broken it first. All right. So
You'll
let's
have to
do.
save the workflow again.
Oh, thanks for keeping me honest. Let's see. Save, and it's active. Okay. Let's do London. Ah, so I did get that the wrong way around. I'll need to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll check my logic on that to make sure I understand that correctly before we. And that crossing the streams will annoy me. So let's do this. Right. Save, and then hopefully London works. Yes. And then let's remove it. Ah, okay. I didn't like that.
Okay, so I think we should activate the workflow again. Let's deactivate and activate it again.
Okay.
Let's try that
Try
out.
again.
Yeah.
Error.
Okay.
So it seems like
I think
it's expect. I'm assuming right now that it expects its value to this. So maybe did I just get something wrong? Let's delete this. Right. Let's try. Well, there's an option, right? So we have the continue and fail, retry and fail. Maybe there's something I could do there, but let's see if I can get this working. String.
so. One thing we haven't chatted about in the expressions, like we have been like selecting outputs, but if you use something within double curly brackets, you can use JavaScript in there. So we could also say, if the value is null or something like that.
All right, walk me through that. So do I just do string again?
Yeah.
And then add expression?
Because the thing is, if we are adding an expression here, like there is nothing to compare there.
Right. Okay, you mentioned earlier, I can type code. Can we do that?
Yeah, we can use a function node for that.
Function?
Yes. So function. So the difference between function and function items is the function node takes all the data that's coming inside and does something with it. Function item takes all the items that are being provided to it individually and acts on that each time.
Oh, okay. So I now that I'm in code mode, I'm feeling a little helpless. I've lost my add expression with all the nice clicky stuff. So I'm not really sure what I would add here.
Okay, so just as an example, like all the data that's being passed throughout the workflow is in the variable called items.
Can we
And
console log
then,
that? Or
yeah,
is there a way to debug what items is?
sure, let's do it. console log items. Okay, so console log, you'd have to go into the terminal where you're running n8n. Also, probably doesn't have any
Yeah.
data right now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So, all right.
So I see the
Oh, we don't
webhook
need the
node
console
is going to
logs,
be activated.
right? Because I could just do return items and that'll show me everything when I hit it. So let
That's
me,
true.
yeah.
But now what happened is, I think you used the production webhook URL, and you manually executed it. So it wouldn't show the data there.
Or was it
So
just
you
because I
could
hadn't
stop the
saved it?
webhook. No, so whenever you execute so all the data that's coming in through n8n while the workflow is active, the data that passes through isn't visible in the editor UI. The data coming in from webhook is only visible if you're using the test webhook. So you would
Okay.
use test webhook to debug your workflows and then set it to active to sort of move it to production, so to speak.
Okay. Well, we kind of got what I needed, I guess, right? Because even by just running that on that empty code one, which is returning items, that's just being dropped into the body of this request here. So I can actually see that probably what I'm looking for is actually just inside the query object. So if I do if query dot city is undefined, then return false. Otherwise, I can return query dot city.
So the thing is like how you are handling data in n8n, it always have to be an array. So the function always returns an array. So you would have something like an array like two brackets, square brackets. No, at return, or it could be here. And then you'd have sort of braces inside it because that's going to be an object. And JSON,
Okay.
you'd have to write JSON. So the thing is how the data structure of n8n is particular.
All right. I
Like
think
you
I
have to.
understand. So let's assume I do this, and then down here I do because we know it exists here. I do query.city. So based on my naive understanding right now, this code node, and I'm going to just test it.
This wouldn't work though. Yeah.
It won't work. No.
No.
Oh, I didn't save it. So let me save. And oh yeah, that's the test mode. Let me run it here. Well, workflow did error. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I should have listened to you the first time. So what did I get wrong there? Because my understanding is if query.city is undefined, which means it's not been specified, then I can return. You said I should return an array, and then I've got JSON inside of that. But I must have misunderstood.
Right. So you have the array brackets, like the square brackets.
Mm-hmm.
Inside it, you have to type JSON, colon, and then whatever is in front of it is fine.
Oh, do I need to? Does it have to be like that?
No,
Oh
just
no.
JSON is fine.
Oh yeah, I guess actually JavaScript doesn't care, right? So, okay, all right, I understand.
And also, is it so JSON also needs to be under braces.
Ah, of course. All right, so let's get that fixed. Like that, right?
Yeah.
I'm having fun. Okay, so I'm gonna run this again. Ah, what did I get wrong? Okay, let's use the test one,
So,
right? Because that gives us the debugging stuff that we need.
yeah.
Oops. So test, copy, and if I
So if
open,
you, on the bottom, you can stop the current webhook. If you go out, yeah,
oh,
and at the bottom, yeah,
okay. So if I hit execute here, that's waiting for me to hit the test endpoint. That's right.
yes,
Okay.
that's
So let's
correct.
send that with nothing. Query is not defined.
So it would be if query equal to undefined.
But query was defined. So uh, if I pull this back, let's comment all that out. I want to understand what I got wrong there because when we did return, oh, it was items.query. Okay. I was going to return items, but that the existence of being able to do that means that what we actually wanted was that.
Items.json, item0.json.query.city. Dot, yeah.
Okay. Let's try that. What's the worst that could happen? Okay. So execute test URL. Oh, where did that come from? So it returned a default, which is good. Did the test URL change?
Oh yeah, it returns a default because you have something outside. Yeah, if you open that up.
Open what up? Sorry.
Sorry, the code
Up. Yep.
in the function node. Yeah. So here you say like if item0.json.query is undefined, then it sends city as a class code, and irrespective of whatever the result is, you're also returning json.query.city. So like that is inside the if block.
Yeah, but I never hit the webhook. So that's what I don't understand there. Is I hit execute here, and that's supposed to wait for a request. Oh
Oh,
no,
I
no.
see what you
Okay,
mean.
okay, no, I've got it.
Yeah.
So what I should have done is hit execute here. I was just triggering the wrong node. There we go. Right.
Because what happens is your webhook node already has data. So if you're executing the next node, it's just using the data it already had for you to model the data, you know.
And now if I pass Berlin, oh, I broke it again. Okay, so it got query Berlin. Oh yeah, I've not hooked it up to anything.
Yeah, but if
Although,
you open it up, its
yeah,
query
okay.
is not defined.
Yeah, okay. So it's just me being really crap that is continually breaking this. So let's fix that and then hook this up, right? So I can now go here and then this goes, no, we just return that, right? So
Yeah.
I'm going to feel confident. I'm going to hit save and I'm going to go back to production and just ship this. Activated. So let's do nothing. Ugh, I thought I had it. What did I get wrong?
This is, I think, error from the old execution, but now we can't. So we can check the error if you click on executions on the left, extreme left. So it says error. Now you can go on the right side of the folder icon. Yeah. Oh yes, we didn't save and activate. Okay, so it shows you what the error is. Because the set node was reference to the wrong expression.
Right,
Sorry,
got it.
OpenWeatherMap node.
Okay, so can I just go back to our fast example, right? So we'll just forget that. Let's fix this, which is now actually looking for, yeah, it's already telling me it's broken. So we want the function, oh, where's my city?
So the function doesn't have any output right now. So which is why we should first build it in test and then move to production because we need the function node to output data to reference it.
All right. So I thought the return here was me returning data. Oh no,
But it doesn't have any data right now, right? Because it's not been executed. So all the data that's visible in the editor UI, it's going to happen when we are using the test webhook URL.
correct. Right. Okay. So
So we need to give it data first and then model it.
okay. So test, copy, execute, jump over here, city, Berlin, which now has that information. So I'm assuming if I remove expression, add expression, nodes, function.
Yeah.
Okay. See, you just got to learn the way of it. Okay, so I'm definitely confident that I'm just going to save it to go to production.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Let's
So
do it. Let's do it.
let's do Paris. All right. Yep, that is Paris. Let's do without. And Glasgow. Perfect.
We did it. Yay.
Okay, I understand so much more how this all connects together now, and the webhook test and production, why they're important. Like it's all starting to make sense to me a bit more now. I like it. Awesome. And I actually
Cool.
see we have a comment with Harshal telling us how to do it with the if block. Yeah, that would
He's
have been
right.
that would have been a lot easier. But I feel like I understand how this is working now by going through that process and connecting the dots. So, awesome! Thank you for the telling us how to do that. And at the same time, I'm glad I kind of persevered and worked my way through that. That was great. All right.
All right. What should we do next?
Yeah, let's do one more thing. If you got a suggestion, or should I just pop open a sidebar and start scrolling? What do you think?
Should we do a Telegram bot?
Yeah, let's do it. How did
Yeah.
new workflow?
Yeah, let's do a new workflow. Do you use Telegram?
I do. I think I even have it running on this Mac. Let me check.
Perfect.
Yeah, I do. Okay. Yeah, just make sure I can hide all my contacts and stuff. Okay. Okay. So what do I do?
So yeah, let's open the Telegram window then. We can create a new bot on Telegram first.
Okay.
Is that fine?
Yeah, I've never done this before, and I don't want to reveal my number, but we should be okay.
Okay, so we need to start a chat with botfather.
Okay, let me. So, oh, it's updating. Oh, it's okay. It's just web. That's fine. Oh no, it's not. Oh, we're good. Okay. So start a chat. New secret chat.
Normal chat.
Normal chat. What's the name?
Botfather.
Okay. Start.
Cool. So we do start. So I think it shows you the slash commands. So there's one for new bot.
I was going to see if I could make this bigger, but I don't think I can. We should be all right. Okay, so I do slash bot.
Oh no,
No,
if
new
you
bot.
take a look. Yeah.
Okay, so Rawkode live. Choose a username. Oh, Rawkode bot. Okay.
Okay, so you can click on the token so that it copies it.
Yep.
Perfect. And let's go to n8n. All right, so we'll start a trigger node.
Oh, trigger. Yep, I'm on it.
Perfect. And we'll create the credentials for it.
Okay, so Rawkode bot, access token, allow. Do I need to drag this over?
Sure.
I've done it now anyway.
And star, let's do star. Let's get everything we sent to this bot.
Uh-huh.
And similarly, like the concept we talked about production. So here we don't need to provide any URL because like we have this node takes care of it for us. However, if we click on execute node, it still stays active for 120 seconds. We'll need to save it first. And if we set the workflow as active, then it would automatically be in production mode. But we don't need to do it now because we need to see the data
Okay,
for
so
modeling our workflow. So let's execute this and go back to the Telegram window.
oh, it failed.
Because we aren't running with tunnel. We need the n8n instance to be reachable from the web. So n8n needs to run with tunnel.
On it.
Perfect.
Okay, refresh. Let's go. Execute. That seems happier.
And
So if I
yeah,
just if I
so
I have to
you must
message my
have a
bot.
link. So there must be a message. In the message, there must be a link to your bot just beneath just above the token.
Oh, I'll put it back. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Start. So it's n/start. And we got it. So we got the first message, /start, because that went first.
That was easy. Okay.
Yeah. Should we try again? Execute.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, it broke.
So what does it say?
It says webhook cannot be activated because another one with the same method post path is already active. I'll just refresh.
Okay, let's close this.
And let's just I can just enable this, right? So
But you won't see any data coming in though.
oh yeah. Okay. Execute.
Okay, let's create a new workflow. So your credentials are already saved.
All right. New switch Telegram trigger. Same credentials, same star. Oh, we need to save it.
We need to save it. Yeah.
It's okay. The bot 2. Pop open. All right.
Let's send it something.
Okay. Go away. There we go.
Awesome.
So can I respond?
Yeah. So now you have gotten a message. What do you say about building? Maybe we build a bot that we say like send it any message and it replies with a name of or recipe of a cocktail, tying in from our previous workflow that we were doing. So we can add HTTP request node.
Yep. Okay, so random execute, get some sample data for the nice expression thingy.
Perfect.
So this is
And
now
then we
going to
do
here, and then
a
sorry,
Telegram node to send it.
oh,
A
so we have
Telegram node at the end
oh, a Telegram node at the end. Got it.
because we need to reply with it. So we can select the same credentials, chat ID. So we need to use expressions here. We get the chat ID from the Telegram trigger node.
Message ID, right?
Yes.
Simple.
Oh,
No.
I'm not sure if it's message ID or if it's chat ID.
All right.
Or you can just click on it. Yeah.
Okay, so
Let's see what else it says.
chat
Chat.
ID.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
All right. So
You can delete it.
I don't know how.
If you go on the if you click there and just use backspace, you can delete the expression.
Ah, okay, cool.
Perfect.
Okay, so we need another expression to filter out the recipe from the HTTP.
Yes.
So, can I filter? Yeah. Let's have a look at this data. JSON formatter.
And if you open the HTTP request node, it also shows it formatted under the JSON. If you close this,
Oh yeah, of course it did. That's right. Okay, yeah, that saves me using another tool. So JSON. Instructions. Okay, so we want instructions.
instructions.
So we click here, filter, and I wish I'd noticed that filter earlier. That's quite handy. Instructions. Done. Right?
Cool. Let's do a execute workflow then.
Okay.
And with the Telegram app.
Oh, wrong window. Oh, my computer's failing. You're okay, MacBook. You'll be fine. Okay, so hi, send me a cocktail.
So what does it say?
It said shaken, not stirred. It did respond, just not with the instructions. I thought, so the instructions must be depending on the cocktail you get. Let's do it again. I bet we get something. Okay, another, please. We'd probably want to send back the ingredients and the instructions for it to actually make sense.
But you need to, we need
yeah.
to,
Okay.
execute.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Cool, I got it. So pour ice cream, vodka, and bourbon in a glass. That's nice. That's pretty sweet. I like that. Awesome. Very cool. And that
Cool.
is no effort whatsoever.
Yeah. What I did a few days ago was like one of our community members actually inspired me to do that. Was she built a Telegram bot, and you'd send it an image of a receipt. Then it uses a service called Mindy. It sends the image to that passes the data out of the receipt, adds it to Google Sheets, and also sends a confirmation like, oh, receipt from Lidl or Revo, whatever supermarket have you of this much amount has been passed and added.
Awesome. Okay. I'm impressed. I think n8n is a really cool tool, and I can already think of stuff I want to do with this. Let me. Is there anything else you want to show before we finish up? Like,
Nothing comes to mind.
okay,
Is there anything
so
you'd like to see?
there's loads, but we are in about an hour and a half now. I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to continue this again. Like, there's so many different things I want to play with. I think what would be really cool though is if I start to put a few of these workflows together for myself and for my team, and then identify a plugin, a node, a trigger that we need to actually do something real, and then reach out to you and I say, why don't we do that together? Like, you can walk me through the process of actually contributing my own node to n8n, and hopefully by then I'll have actual workflows doing real production stuff that we can kind of show off, talk about, and take it from there. That sounds good to you?
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. That was really cool. Thank you, Tanay. I really enjoyed even when things went a little bit weird and wonderful there. Like, just I feel like I completely understand the data model a little bit more and all that. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a really good day, and I hope this was useful to the people watching too. All right.
Thank you for having
I'll
me.
speak to you soon. Thank you again. Bye.